I think at times we mix up things, and permit me to explain this. When you're in a position like where you face, you are doing the right thing, but you also face the very charged political environment that we live in. So once he's achieving some very good things, he will have criticism, some of which are very destructive. And those criticisms, because they are politicized, because the very nature of our society is that it is for the opposition to criticize and undo you so they come to power. And it is the duty of the government to assert whatever it has achieved so that they maintain power. That's the system we have taken for ourselves. As a result, it drives divisiveness, and we forget that unity is more important than natural resources. Let me explain. So it's not because EOF is not doing anything good, but once you posit the argument in the fact that I am doing something and it's not being recognized, we've moved away from the fact that on what you are doing, we can leverage more to indirectly responding to those who are criticizing you.
Right.
That's how the system is. And it's something which is difficult for us to understand. And let me explain this point. and EOF knows how much work I've done on this center of the world. I'm very happy that he's driving it. He needs to drive it more. We miss the point that the most important factor for investment is mind share. And nobody talks about it. What is mind share? Mind share is what comes to mind when you decide. Okay. If somebody decided to turn on his radio today and listen to any news on business, there are 2-3 radio stations he will turn because he will come to mind. That's all that it is. If I decided to look for somebody called Kwakwi, you will come to mind. It is the same way people invest. There are 54 or 55 African countries, depending on whether you are counting from the AU or you are counting from Morocco, right? Now, if somebody decides in America, and I'm talking about FDIs, that he wants to invest in Africa, it's only because Ghana comes to mind. And if you realize that what comes to mind and concerns me is security, then you will see that the Fitch rating emphasizes a lot on security. If he focuses on openness, which is what Yofi is talking about, we scored very high on openness. The decision to invest is not made on investments. It's made on factors that drive investments. So first, you must come to mind, what other things do they look for? For example, the After Secretariat is located here, among other things, because Ghana is peaceful, they have schools, their children will go to, etc. So that's what drives investments. But we seem to be driving investments instead of driving the things that drive investments. Let me give you a very good example, and I'll go back to the center of the world. Nothing drives mind share more than center of the world. Can you ignore the center of the world? You cannot. You cannot.
It's the only thing we alone have.
If I had the chance to brand Ghana, and with all due apologies, I've seen that advert on Ghana center of the world. I wouldn't do that advert. I won't. I would do just a 1-minute advert. And I would do an advert with a spacecraft going to space, showing somebody like Elon Musk. Everybody listens to him. I will show people who are doing very wild things, and I will say, we've gone to space. Good. Have you been to the center of the world?
Simple.
That 1-minute advert changes everything about Ghana. It brings Ghana to mind when the investor is making a decision. Then you add things like stability, openness, schools. We are part of global English. All those things, now it drives tourism. And when I hear our educated people, unfortunately, I mean our very educated people, call the creative as invisible sector, I think differently.
Yeah.
It is the most visible sector. You don't drive mind share without visibility. How do you call the sector that drives your mind share invisible? Look, if there is a master stroke that happened in the last 5 years, it is that decision to do the year of return.
Yes.
It brought Ghana to the minds of people who are in the diaspora who needs to come back. But again, you can decide to focus on the opposition distraction of it, or how we leverage it from that master stroke of the president creating the year of return.
Okay.
And I don't think we've maximized it.